On est tout prêt? Presque. Ok. Ça, c'est le français avec ne pas de bon accent. Alright, let's do this. And I think we... Oh, are we live? I'm waiting for this thing to transition. Hello. Hi, Internet. I think we are live. So, hi everybody, my name is Todd. We're going to play some Dungeons & Dragons tonight. We took our homebrew and we mashed it into Descent into Avernus, this invisible book here. If I keep it moving, Zoom won't make it out. I haven't really even had a chance to say hey to everybody because, you know, coffee is priority. Sorry, guys. I'm not addicted. I can stop anytime I want.
Anyway, you just don't want to.
Oh. Exactly. I just don't want to. I don't want to stop. I'm fine. Anyway, we are actually on the stream right now. So, hi everybody. How is ya? So in a moment we'll do a quick introduction. I did want to say one thing for anybody who hasn't watched our games before. You are invited to be part of this. You're invited to say hello. You're also invited to spend some plot points, our viewing thing, and actually have an input into what happens in the game. So without further ado, I'm going to let these fine folks kind of introduce themselves. And I am the Dungeon Master, and these fine folks are our players. Thanks for joining, guys. It's fun. I'm glad to see everybody, hopefully every week. That's the goal. So I guess we'll just start over here. Why don't you start us off there, Gordon?
Hey, Gordon. Playing Fenris, the Shadow Sorcerer, and had a rough battle. Started off a little poorly, but got into the thick of it, and all of a sudden we're teleported out of there. Absolutely. So I guess we're resuming from last session.
Absolutely. In fact, I don't even know if you guys realize how that ended. So we'll pick up from there and we'll see see how you do. Now, before we get into that, I also want to point out you have a thing right now and people can get involved.
Yeah, I have a thing. It's so I've been working on this board game, my latest one, and the Kickstarter campaign launched just a few days ago.
Yeah, congratulations on that, and I believe it's doing really well, and we're just trying to...
Yo, Finn said, Woot, Gordon's got a thing.
Gordon's got a thing.
Yo, Finn said, wait.
Hashtag Gordon's got a thing. Gordon's got a thing.
I got a thing. So the game's called Lost Ones, and it's live.
Yeah, it's absolutely live, and you can sign up now and get a copy if you are a supporter of the right tier and all of that. So go check that out. And is there a website we need to know, or just look for Lost Ones on Kickstarter?
You can look for Lost Ones on Kickstarter, sure. And I can, I don't know, I can post a link, but I can post.
If you send it to Darcy, Darcy can put it in chat because Darcy is our technical wizard.
I will do that.
Yes, that's true. I can go pick that up. I've been to...
All right, so we're just going to jump back over, and I just have to find all the buttons. There are too many buttons, folks. Too many buttons. All right, so we'll keep going around the horn. Let's go down to Carl. Hey, Carl.
Hey, guys. So, Carl, I will be playing a... shadow monk with the name of Falurie. She's an Arakocra monk. Ended up in the Nine Hells chasing her prey. Obviously got lost or imprisoned or, you know, made to hide somewhere. But right now she's with these bunch of misfits. Went into her first foray in the fracas that was the battle of the demons, and is now licking a wound, so to speak.
Oh, not even so to speak. Like, you are literally using your large bird-like tongue to lick at a festering wound that is giving you a hard time. Oh, yeah, that was fun. I'm glad you got a chance to swing some fists and punch some demons. So
and get punched by some demons.
Oh,
dude,
yeah,
you got
by
hit
one demon.
hard. That bone, not demon, bone devil. Oh, and the Chasme. The Chasme got you
Horn
real
devil,
good.
Horn devil.
So it was a
Yeah,
demon,
Chasme.
actually.
Yeah, it was a Chasme demon and a Horn devil.
Yeah, absolutely. Just came and greeted Falurie. All right.
Oh yes, it hurted.
Oh yes, that's.
Welcome to D&D.
I think we actually had that moment. I think it was clipped, and I'll put it on the YouTubes. But there was a moment where Carl officially joined the game, and that was when he got his first Nat 1. Yay, Nat 1! All right, we're gonna keep going around our circle. Other way, over to Darmita or Bela. Sorry, Bela. Play.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I might have some trouble tonight with technology. It's hating me. Having trouble connecting to the morally ambiguous channel, but I will get it figured out. I'm Darmita, and I am a Gloomstalker rogue. And Darmita. Well, we're gonna see how Darmita plays out tonight.
There was some pretty big stuff that just went down for Darmita.
Yep. So we are gonna just see what happens and how she, plays this out. We'll see.
All right, very enigmatic. I love it. All right, and last but certainly not least, at least for tonight, although there are some players missing, Darcy.
Hi, I'm super excited to be here. Before I keep going, did you want to mute the reader so that I can post the link, or do you want that to be read to everybody?
You know what? Because it's promoting Gordon's thing, I want it to be read to everybody. I'm sorry, Internet, and for those listening to the podcast later, if it's annoying robot voice inbound.
Darcy Bits said, www.kickstarter.com/projects/gbg/lost-ones.
All right, last -ones.
There you go.
Ones.
By the way, can I just
Yo Finn
interject?
said, why is it so slow for
I
Darcy?
don't know. It keeps being
Always slow for me.
Yeah. It always slows for Darcy. I don't know why. Sorry, what was that?
Am I reading a Kickstarter correctly right now? Did I just read what the Kickstarter is right now at?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't look at it. I just grabbed the link.
It's doing real well.
Can I just say, holy shit, Gord.
Yeah, thanks. It's doing all right.
Now that said,
Off to a good start.
let's not forget that we want to keep supporting it and even reach for those. Do you have stretch goals? I don't know.
There are stretch goals, yeah.
All right, there you go. Reach for them, stretch. Stretch.
Yeah, we made the first one, I think, like yesterday, and we're getting very close to the second one.
Very cool. I'll have to admit I have to still support it, and I'll log in and do that shortly. So busy at work. So busy.
I'm working.
And of course, let's welcome back to the channel Yaofen. We've already heard from him in chat a couple times, and hopefully we'll get some other viewers helping us out with some suggestions throughout the game. And one more thing to watch for is, for both the players or the chatters, is game episode titles. So we always like to name our episodes based on what happens in the game, and this is no exception. So please keep your eyes open for appropriate games titles. Now there is a couple
Did
of
you name the last one yet?
I just threw in some what was it?
Like, is it mirrored to YouTube? I mean.
It is already up on YouTube. I forget what I
Okay,
called
cool. Never mind then, because I was rewatching it but didn't watch the whole thing, and
it. Oh, you thought of a name?
I didn't think of one. You just said something, and I was like, "That's a good name."
Oh, see, I think I called it something like On Hallowed Ground or something generic.
Yeah,
No,
honestly,
These Mortal Coils or something like that. Released Mortal Coils. So that was our last game because that ended on quite the throwdown. So our party finds themselves in hell, and they are not. I mean, to be honest, our party finds themselves in hell earlier than their mortal demise. Let's admit that most of the people here were probably bound for this place anyway. Although that percentage may be swayed a little now. I see Darcy being like, "What?" And of course, Falurie is still a bit of a question mark. We're going to find out more about Falurie as we go, because Carl joined us a bit later. But Fenris and Darmita, well, let's just say there's a reason it's called morally ambiguous. And
we don't know whether or not they're moral or not. It doesn't mean we know that they aren't moral.
It's true.
That wouldn't be ambiguous at all.
It is somewhat ambiguous. You're right. Now they also have some people who are supposed to be with them but are not. We don't have a couple of players today. We have Archibald Cunningham, the duelist dandy rogue, played by Jay. And unfortunately, Jay couldn't make it tonight, so he's hoping to be here in about 2 weeks. And as say we all, hope to be back in 2
we'll have to
weeks.
keep him safe till then.
Well,
See if we can do that.
Either that, or he's got to roll up a new character, right? So, I mean, nothing. Oh, it came.
Honestly, I don't know what his max hit points are. He might have been dead weeks ago.
You're just carrying a corpse. It's like Weekend at Bernie's style.
Yeah.
And then, of course, last game, we bid farewell to one of our longtime players who, because of scheduling, couldn't make it. And I was super happy. I was so psyched that Trent made it for one last game.
It was so good.
I was so pleased about that. It was a total surprise. Like, we were literally, I was starting the countdown, and he messaged me. It was like, I'm coming. I was just like, yes! Didn't change what I'd hoped would happen, which was our
one last job.
big Goliath Barbarian, finally freed from the curse of a magic item, ended up coming to his senses in the middle of a three-way fight between demons, devils, and the party, surrounded on all sides, outnumbered, and honestly, they were like beating on y'all pretty harshly. I forget, how many hit points did Darmita have left, more or less? Oh, you're muted.
Hear you.
I don't know because I'm having a hard time getting
Right.
everything up, but I was critically low.
It was less than 30.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was definitely critical times.
Yeah. And
I
Falurie
don't know
was...
if your character sheet has been consistently updated. Looks like it has because it's got enough max hit points. So your sheet says 20 for me.
Wow,
That's-
nice. As a GM, I'm always like, yes, I got them close.
I will double check with the D&D Beyond because sometimes I do forget to
Do both.
minus it from the roll.
Actually, shouldn't it be linked? There's
It's
an overlay for you. 15 on the Twitch overlay. I forgot that's a thing.
Yeah. That's pretty harsh. And Gordon, I think everybody was hurting except maybe Philees.
I didn't take any damage.
Yeah.
I got attacked one time and it was a grapple.
Speaking of Philees...
I was at 29.
Speaking of Philees, something went down right at the end that I think should probably be mentioned. Philees very quickly yelled out to her party and then cast a spell, which I did not expect Darcy to do, first of all. That was a total surprise for me.
What? A player doing something you don't expect? That's
That never happens. So Philees ended up casting, what was it, Gaseous Form?
Gaseous Form. It's one of her spells from being a Circle of the Underdark.
Right.
Or Circle of the Land Underdark, yeah.
So she very quickly turned into this mist, and the last thing she yelled, do you want to do a quick recap? Do you remember?
Keep trying. I know you can do this. Meet me at I will meet you at Mahadi's bazaar. Something like that.
Turned into gas and started misting away a little bit out of the grip of the
Yeah. She
demon.
was grappled by that, the aforementioned grapple. Yeah.
The now revealed Hollyphant, which is a celestial elephant miniature mammoth, often associated with angels as a kind of companion and mount. now what you knew as the old man, the memory lost crazy old man that you encountered way back, and
Lando to stando sanana suna.
also known as Lulu. So Lulu ended up under the very careful and seriously critical 20 of Philees there at the right moment, ended up teleporting the party away, but not before Benkuhm was surrounded, grappled between a demon and a chain devil, with a walking up along came the horned devil behind. And that was the very last you saw of your friend, Benkuhm.
By the way, I checked it. Darcy's right. 15. I was at.
Yeah, the Twitch overlay is connected to your D&D Beyond. So.
Yeah.
And the D&D Beyond's connected to your soul bone. All right. Sorry.
Oh no, not my soul bones.
It's a thing. All right, everybody. Without further ado, we're going to dive in and find out what happens. Where you ended up, somewhere on a plane of Avernus, the first layer of hell. I feel like there should be some kind of transition scene here or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we
Okay.
need like, I don't know, desert sands blowing across our eyes, and then it fades away and we see what's revealed. I don't know. Or like, what's teleporting like? Do we feel anything?
Well, when you teleported, the sort of glowing mist around you and the radius around the Hollyphant suddenly crystallized, just went opaque with this bluish white kind of color, where you could no longer see your surroundings. The shadow of Benkuhm and the devils and the demons just fading behind this mist, and then it's almost like it expands. It almost expands inwards, just at your face, and then just blinding you for a second, and then you blink it away, and you are standing or kneeling or being held up, as the various cases may be, somewhere else. You find yourself on a blasted, windswept plain. The reddish dirt reminiscent of dust and ash. The sulfur smell is just all around you. It's in the air, it's in the dust, and you look above, just wiping your eyes, getting used to the new light levels. It's actually a little bit brighter out here now. From the inside of the high hall in El Terrell. You are nowhere near that now. You look around and you see on the distance kind of rising and falling hills, and even some mountain peaks kind of jutting up, almost without reason. Not usual mountain ranges, more like the thrown playthings of a tantruming, like massive beyond giant. You look the other way and you see a ridge, and pretty far off in the distance, you can just make out the shadow of something hovering above the plain. And you look down and you see this ever so slight rolling hills and a hint of red peeking between them. The sky is roiling with dark clouds and lit from above with this kind of reddish fire flickering glow that's fairly omnipresent. It's not like you can pick out where a sun might be. Looking back towards the far side off to the west, you see this kind of little, from your perspective, little rock moat floating up in the air with these little, you can just make out chains making its way up. In the distance, you see the now floating island of El Terrell hovering above this kind of outcropping of some hills, and these little chains extending down to these tall iron rusted spikes, as though it's been pegged into the ground and is hovering there again, straining against the chains. It's too far out even to make out even the biggest of demons flying above it, or devils flying above it, but you can see El Terrell in the distance. You do just make out the flicker of reddish and bluish lightning coming off of the black orb that is suspended just above this floating island. If you had to guess, you would be maybe 5 miles away, but you're ever so slightly up on a rise, so you can just make it out in the distance.
Not that far.
You quickly take stock of what's around you, who's around you, and yourselves just recoiling from the adrenaline of the fight. Archibald places Darmita back on the ground from where he'd been dragging her away from the devil. There you are, love. Ooh, you look a little rough.
Let go of me now.
Of course.
And I'll get up and I will turn toward Fenris. And I know I don't have any more resources in terms of my abilities to put fear, but I'm not really looking at it in terms of that feature. I'm looking at it in terms of her anger, that I feel like her kind of skeletal wings would make themselves apparent and her physical changes would kind of happen as she looks at him absolutely in disgust. How dare you?
I didn't take us here. What are you talking about?
Thrust.
What happened? Old man, where do you take us? You need to take us back.
You look over, and where the old man was, you remind yourself you're looking at a strange little holophant, a little mammoth, but it's got a very similar structure of eyes as the old man. It kind of looks up at you, and in your mind you hear a voice, a familiar one, that says, I'm sorry, I was told to get us out, so I got us out. And the little thing just flapping with its 2 flying ears, actually 4, is wavering and then slumps down onto the ground where the feet kind of catch it. Its legs are almost comically too short for something its size, and it kind of slumps over exhausted on the ground and panting.
Yeah, I think Henrietta will catch the Lando.
Henrietta stirs from the ground, and the Lulu lands almost on Henrietta, because Henrietta was knocked unconscious at the last thing. But as it lands, she reaches out and touches the side of it and is remembering what just happened.
Sure, yeah. And to reiterate, because we didn't mention it before, in the previous session or two, Henrietta was a notable NPC who was previously my actual character from like 20 sessions ago. So we see her in, she's wearing full plate. She's got a very broad build, human, short-ish blonde hair, light skin. That she has a shield with her, and we notice a sort of like a Morning Star style mace at a hip. And she's kind of like, I guess she got knocked out. That's new. Blinking, goes to sort of help up the Holophant, but you can also see like this very like strong reaction to the sulfur in the air. Right, it's like way more potent here than it was in El Terrell. It sounds like. So just sort of sputtering. Oh, all right. Where are we? And probably starts like looking around to see if there's like demons or devils that need to be addressed in this new location. Assessing situation.
Go ahead and do a perception check.
Sure. Perception.
I should watch that screen so I can see what you roll. 9.
9. Yeah.
It's like 20.
Philees. Philees. I'm just calling out. Where is Philees? Philees, you need to polymorph and get us back.
There is no response.
I just look around for
You
her.
just hear the wind. You only see the blasted plain around you.
I just continue berating Fenris. This is entirely your fault. He followed you. He trusted you. He protected you. And what did you do in return?
We freed him. We freed his soul.
To leave him?
I didn't leave him. I was in the middle of a fighting. I just took down one of the big devils. I was ready to fight again, and next thing I know, I'm popping over here.
You're the one who supposedly leads us.
I didn't know that we were getting teleported out of here. I was busy fighting with you. I took down that devil that speared you. I took down the Chasme. I was going after the chain devils. Next thing I know, when I reposition myself, I get teleported out. I didn't say for us to leave. I didn't call for us to leave.
You're
I don't know
have
who
every
did.
back. He sacrificed himself so many times for you and for me. To just leave him?
You guys are in the middle of your conversation, your argument, when Falurie, you notice in the distance, you hear a sound. Not the wind. Something rhythmic, low and pulsing. And it's getting closer.
Guys, I appreciate that you guys are in the throes of discussion here, but I think we might need to seek some refuge and rest while not being out in the open here and being easy prey for everything else.
Darmita just looks at you and then looks back at Fenris. I'm going back. I'm not leaving him. I'm not betraying him.
Archibald turns.
Say,
Oh, so good.
I'm glad to hear that I have to say, actually, because, well, much as getting out of that situation might have been good at the moment, still a town full of people there that I really like to protect if I can. So, if you're heading back, I'd like to go with you.
Yeah, I hadn't even gotten to that point. You all look at me as if I indiscriminately kill. I am certain I can count on all my fingers and toes that every single person I have ever killed has deserved it and would have killed me first if they had the chance.
That's a lot. Sorry.
Oh.
The sound is getting louder.
Alright, so what are we gonna do now?
You look around and you see some rolling hills just to the east of you. Some of them have some rocks that might be big enough to kind of get, at least a little higher or perhaps hide. You now all see, and Archibald points out as he's like, all right, yes, bad things. What do you think that is? And he points down the hill on the opposite side of off to where you see El Terrell. Well, not opposite, but it's more directly to the north. You see these clouds of dust along the open plain, just kind of being kicked up. Two different dust clouds, as though something were feverishly crawling along the ground and kicking up quite a lot of dust in its wake.
How fit do I feel?
Hen has, let's say, 2 points of exhaustion. Otherwise,
which I hadn't asked.
Yeah. Otherwise, your hit points are more or less fine, but you are extremely tired from your ordeal, not only in the fight, but prior to that with the helm of
Cool. Yeah.
Peller's sight.
Okay, exhaustion. What's exhaustion? Cool. Great. Good.
Archibald and Henrietta scooped up the little limp Hollyphant, which is kind of fluttering uselessly in her arms, but you are very, very strong. You have no problem lifting. Even though it's a little elephant-type creature, it's quite little and surprisingly light. I mean, it does fly.
Yeah, we probably hear, like, very softly, sort of absent-mindedly, Henrietta start to, like, sing something in Celestial. I know that Darmita speaks Celestial, so she'd probably, understand. It's just like a hymn, right? It's not. There's no specific, like, deep meaning in the intent. It's just.
That's fair. All right. Where do you want to go? It's about 5 miles back to El Terrell, off to your west. The plains. You're kind of on a rise here. There are some outcroppings directly to the east. You turn around and look south, and there's like, it's a little hard to make it out. You think you can see a bit of a mountain plain that due south, pretty far away, but it's extremely hazy, as though there's a cloud or some kind of storm pretty, like, between you and the mountain. Again, you'd probably guess about maybe 3-4 miles off, just to the south. It's, if anyone is trained in nature. Anybody?
Darmita would be. No?
No, survival.
Survival might give you. It looks like some kind of storm. You're not sure exactly what, but it does look like it resembles a storm of some kind.
We're in a desert setting?
It's very arid, yes. It's quite dry, and it's oddly dry and humid at the same time. Like, the dust is extremely dry, the ground is cracked.
You just got really quiet. Is that just me?
No.
Sorry, I'll fix that. I just bumped my audio and
Okay, you sound fine now. Yeah.
So the air is very, very humid and uncomfortably hot, but the ground is incredibly dusty and cracked and dry. So you are oddly at once way too hot and way too humid and but the ground around you looks like it hasn't rained in months. It's not quite a desert. There are little scrub brush around and little tufts of, hardy type of ground plants, but they appear to be quite dry.
Well, fortunately, it's not a forest or a mountain or the Underdark, so I'm at a loss.
It's hell. How would that? Your extra one's hell, not Underdark.
Yep. It's none of my.
It is.
Huh?
Your favorite terrain is hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think we did that because you're a fiend hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably says Underdark because hell's not an actual option, but.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing, I guess, would be, though, that constitutes a vast amount. Like,
true, but it's also very specific at the same time.
Darmita, can I get you to roll a survival check with advantage, please?
So these, like, dust devils, are they, like, bearing down on us, or are they, like, smooth, like, not moving?
Go ahead and do a perception check to find out.
Sure.
Or survival.
oh wow, 12.
12 with advantage.
Yeah.
Crap.
All right then.
Okay.
It's really hard to tell. Henrietta, you're kind of squinting and you get dust in your eye. You literally get dust in your eye.
Let's get out of here.
Darmita, you get enough to... being your favored terrain, you've heard rumors of the various hells. You didn't specifically study Avernus per se, but you know that this is a very strange plane of existence. It defies logic in some ways, especially when you try to navigate it. You've heard tales of people going mad, trying to find their way across the plains of Avernus, trying to make sense. Distances don't seem to stay the same. Directions can even change. It's very discomforting. You kind of had dismissed it as foolish rantings, but now that you're here, you can kind of begin to believe some of them. All right, those things are definitely getting closer, and they're arcing. You can tell by the trail. Now, the smoke trail, the dust trail is, a good quarter-mile long. Whatever they are is like kicking up a crazy amount of dust, and there's definitely two of them, and they seem to be zigzagging back and forth, crossing each other's paths. Probably
take a look.
Go ahead and do a perception check for me.
18.
18, nice. You squint and you swear you see a kind of carriage. It's some of them definitely, it's bizarre in shape, and they're weird bony or metal protrusions on something the size of a large carriage, but you see nothing pulling these things. They kick up a crazy amount of dust, and they have large spiked wheels, and sometimes they have strange lance-like protrusions sticking out of the front or side. They are not the same. They are strange moving carriages that are going at a pace that you've only ever seen flying things match.
My Arcana, would I be able to know what they are?
Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Okay. 23.
That's a good roll.
Much better than last session.
You don't know what they're called, but you've heard mad rumblings of tales, rumors of the different planes, and there was mention. You don't even really remember specifically where, but you did vaguely recall hearing someone who trained you joking one day about carriages that tear across the ground on their own, fueled by hell. It's hard to...
Those are some type of vehicles of hell. Maybe we can take one of them and get back quickly if we have no other means.
I agree. I say we take as best cover as we can and then ambush them.
Archibald leans over and is like, it looks like a wonderful plan. Love it. First of all, we're all messed up. Secondly, it doesn't look like they're coming this way anymore. So they've been doing this wide, lazy arc, and they seem like they're going to continue on past the rise where you find yourselves.
Well, hopefully
you can see small figures. Yeah. You can see small figures dangling off or strapped into these things now that they're a little bit closer, hanging off the side. You swear you see this. You see like a flaming torch on the top of one of them. It's hard to make out details at this distance. They're about a half mile away right now, moving fast across.
No. I think what you're saying has some logic to it, and maybe that should be the plan going forward, but we probably could take the opportunity to rest first. Sure, there'll be some more later.
I don't think we have time to rest. you saw what would happen back there. Benkuhm is in the middle of a fight.
All right.
Oh, maybe you didn't see what happened back there. That's right, you were knocked out. Are you able to heal us?
Yeah, I think I can do some work at least. That's noble of you. I like what you're saying.
If you can heal us, we can figure out a way to lure one of those things over and try to take it over.
All right. All right. Yeah. No, you're right. And as much as you know my stance on killing, we're in hell. I don't have I'll draw steel against devils and demons if I need to. You can hold me to that. All right. Let's start casting spells, I guess. Let's see. So, assuming I have all my spells, I guess I don't.
Yeah, you used it was a ritual cast of one thing that you were taking part in. So yeah, you actually have all your spell slots.
Cool. So let's see what is actually the most efficient thing here. Actually casting heal. Let's see. I have Cure Wounds, which I'm gonna cast. I also have Aid, which is pretty.
Also Lay on Hands.
I also have Lay on Hands. Yeah. My magic is most useful just because I have, multi-class spell slots.
Falurie, as you're watching these things go, you realize they are fast. They're quite fast. But so are you. And especially from the air. Of all of the people here, you probably have the best chance to keep up with these things.
That is very true, but I'm hurt pretty bad, so unless somebody can patch me up, and ideally I'd like to have a short rest, but I can go and scout it out.
I walk up to Valerie and cast Cure Wounds first level. I already did one on myself. They're not worth much, but
better than nothing.
So what do I roll for that one?
You get 7 hit points.
All right. Okay. All right. So you want me to go follow one of these chariots?
25 for 3 people.
I want you to try to lure it over to us.
4 would be approximately.
I'm gonna use Kyogum's ointment on Falurie and then as well, so 2d8 plus 2. It also cures poison and any disease. I don't know if that helps with the Casme, but I'll use it.
If I know Greater Restoration would, but I don't know about that ointment.
Okay.
We'll maybe have to look
you
that
get
up.
14 back as well.
14 back?
Yeah.
All right.
Archibald pulls out a flask from his hip and takes a few sips. Oh, that's foul. Drinks more of it. He then offers it around if anybody needs a nip.
16.
Anybody else want some for courage?
So we concluded that the ointment doesn't help with necrotic.
It heals necrotic, but it doesn't take away from your permanently lowered hit points without.
I get a thing.
Yeah.
All right. Who's most wounded? I guess I can probably even tell that just myself because.
Yeah. You look around.
Wounds are physical. I'm gonna cast. Just call people to stand around, and I start to sing a soft hymn in Celestial, and 3 people, whoever needs it most, will regain 25 hit points, and their maximum health is increased by 25.
Wow, perfect. So I think Archibald managed to get through that without too much trouble. So
Wait, did I just say that wrong? I think I said that wrong.
he was hurt, but I don't think he was as badly hurt as the three of you guys. Plus, you're
10,
here.
15. No, sorry, it's 15, not 25. Sorry, 15.
Okay.
So I think I can just do that twice actually to start. So let's just do a flat 30 heal without rolling. That's 30 to 3 people, whoever needs those most. I know there's 3 of you, and then there's also Archie, and I don't know how to deal with that narratively.
He's busy drinking, so I'm like, I'll be all right. Just give me a minute.
Cool. So everyone can take 30 hit
He pulls
points
out a
and
healing
maximum
potion that
increase
he'd
by
had
30.
secreted away on himself and takes a chug. Gets a little bit of hit points back.
And,
I need-
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still not at my half of my max, but I'm better than I was, so
All right. Now, who's
Is it
worth for will
30
now?
each?
It's
Yeah.
30 each. So
Wow.
this is aid. Aid does 5 hit points to 3 different people, and
You're upcasting.
I'm upcasting it, so it's 15 to 3 different people, and then I cast it twice.
Nice.
Okay, do the other guys in the party need it? Like, I mean, the other NPCs?
I think it's just the 3 of us. Let's
Just the 3 of you,
Makes it
and
easier
the
that way.
Holophant is fine, but it's like really tired, like knocked almost unconscious. The old man looks over at Darmita, or the Holophant looks over at Darmita and kind of whimpers a little bit and goes, yes, chuck, clonk.
And I'll start healing with Cure Wounds, just bottom up with, I start doing some hymns and stuff, and we do healing, and we'll just resolve it mechanically. I don't need to.
So as you're
everything here.
no, that's fine. But as you're doing that, the sky clears in this tiny little patch above you, and it's not sunlight per se, but a brighter light makes its way through the clouds and just illuminates the just around you, just a little bit brighter than the rest of the hells, and you all take that light and air in, and that sulfur smell just gets a little bit less for a few seconds, and you all take your hit points. It is
So that was like
noticeably brighter,
mechanically, and
though.
If time matters, it's like that's 2 rounds, so it's 2 spells.
That's okay. No, that's fine.
And I'm gonna start casting Cure Wounds bottom up because it's just most efficient at low levels, because you don't increase the modifier being added when you upcast. So I'm just gonna. Who needs it first? I'm rolling. I'm just gonna start rolling dice.
give
So
it.
this is the first Cure Wounds is 10.
Falurie should take that because you're going to.
Well, with the aid increased my max hit points by 25. You said.
By 30, actually.
Max
Okay.
hit points will stay increased for 8 hours, and then they'll drop down again. But by then you should have recovered the thing, and hopefully it'll work out, or I'll have to cast it again.
All right. So I think I'm good for HP now.
I'll take another 10.
So yeah, just 10, 6, 9, 10. Whoever wants to grab those, claim them.
Archie will take the 6.
Okay.
I'll take a 10, so that'll be fine.
And so of course this is like literally me like laying hands on people, and all right.
Touching them in special places.
So we still have a 9. Do any of our NPCs need it?
The
Archie
only
and Lulanda, right?
NPCs, your numbers have been whittled down.
Yeah. It's just Lulu.
Yetta and Lulu. So do either one of them need it? How's Lulu doing?
Lulu is near unconscious, but it appears to be undamaged. The old man kind of muttering, the old elephant, it's very bizarre, but it does have a resemblance. In fact, by now, you can even see the little tuft of where the beard was on the old man, just underneath the chin with the long trunk. The old man is, Lulu is muttering in Celestial, and you can hear it, Darmita. I think you're the only one who knows Celestial. Oh, I guess Henrietta would too. You
Henrietta
both
does.
hear
Yeah, Celestial as
saying,
well.
friend in low places. There's friends in high mad. Chook. Clunk.
How's everyone feeling? I can keep going if we need it.
I think that's good.
Is Henrietta gonna take the 9?
I mean, I don't think
Henrietta
she'll
doesn't need
damage.
hit points. She's just physically exhausted.
Then I'm happy to take the last 9, unless Fenris needs it. I'm at 90.
Falurie,
Right.
you're
My
keeping an
maps.
eye on your prey, such as your way, being the bounty hunter. You're
Oh,
judging
90, is that
distances from
right?
here, and you can see that those machines are going to be hard to catch at this point. If you
I
wait too
take
much
off.
longer. Falurie leaps into the air, the wings. What color is your plumage? Just curious.
Blue, dark blue and brown with spots of gray.
All right, so from a
This
distance,
is what I
you do
wanted to
blend
know
in.
when you first told me to draw her.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, not you.
I didn't know. This is the first time hearing it too.
Yeah, I know.
No,
So-
the female Aarakocras generally have more muted plumages than the male ones. So
That actually serves you
I'm
pretty
looking at
well here, because you don't exactly blend in fully with the sky, but at least you don't stand out quite as much with the dark gray and the darker blue. You leap into the sky and just flap your wings as hard as you can. I'm going to need you to do I'm going to need you to do an acrobatics. And what is your speed and any other monk abilities to add to your speed?
my speed is 50 for flying. That's about it. Like a
So
regular
Not that we're doing
regular
this.
speed 35.
Not that we're doing this in initiative order, but just calculating your speed is 50 move, and if you dash, you could get another 50. Can you do anything on a bonus to speed yourself up even more?
That's key points, right?
I have 2 key points left.
If you want to spend them, you can. Go ahead and you can do 100 even without spending a key point. If you spend your action just booking. Go ahead and roll athletics. I'm asking because it changes your DC on catching these things. Go ahead and roll athletics, please.
Oh, can I get you to sort of recap what healing you took so I make sure that it adds up?
I took the 30 and then another 10 and another 9.
Okay, I got you to 90?
Huh?
And I got you to 90?
I had given myself 5.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
I did a cure wounds on myself for 5, a little bit further up.
How'd you do, Falurie? Okay, so 16. For some reason, I can't hear you. 16 is... You leap into the sky and you just wing it for these things. They're now down a good, half mile away, moving fast across the base of the hill where you are. And it is just... it is... Oh, hold on, I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. You're going very quickly, but you're still not going to be able to catch the machine at this point. I need you to do another athletics check for me.
Okay. If I spend my key point to do Step of the Wind, is that
That will change
assist?
things. Yeah.
I will do that.
All right. Mark the key point as you grit your beak. Is that a thing? you grit your beak
That's
and
right.
just pound the wind with your wings and just get a feel for the movement of the hot air currents rising off the plains and just dance across the sky. Spending the key point lowered the athletics DC. Do one more athletics check for me, please. It was a base 10. And I don't say this, and I'm not making this up, but spending the key point lowered it from 20 to catch down to 10. So
Yay!
you are really pushing it, but you just managed to start closing distance. If you keep at this speed for a little bit longer, you will close ranks. You are about 100 feet above them currently. I'm going to need one more athletics check. If you want to spend another key point to catch up, you can. You don't have to if you don't want to. The DC is determined. It's in my mind. I would type it in chat, but it would read it.
No, I'm gonna keep my last one for
That's fair.
Emergency.
That's fair.
Yeah. 17.
All right, not bad. DC was 15. You just managed to close. You're above them, your shadow just dancing across, just behind in the dust clouds where they are below you. You see these two really weird looking machines. For us, we would almost pick, like, if I say, like, hillbilly reaper, like, reaver dune buggy, if that means anything to you. That's kind of what you can picture. They are just, and the dust is a mix of this terrible, wretched smoke that smells like rotten flesh and sulfur and just the worst of things, mingled in with all the dust kicked up from the plains. On top of them, you see a few odd figures, little kind of things wearing like red helmets or hats, scampering up and over them with very little regard for hanging on. Like, you see at one point one of them lose their grip, and it's small. It's like a halfling or a gnome or something, and it's just dangling off the side. Just the howls of its wretched little laughter echoing around it, drowned out by the engines at any distance, but being closer, you can just make it out. You also see this flaming torch at the top of one of these things, pretty much perched right on, almost like a position of like honor, on right on the top of this strange carriage. The other, you look down and you see not one but two black cloaked figures. Wait, your eagle-ish eyes allow you to see very well. Those aren't cloaks. That's that's what they look like. They have black, long feathers just flapping in the wind. You see one of them right at the front stand up and spread their arms, not wings, arms, but the black feathers all along the beak with this almost raven-like head. Also wearing some tattered robes and a belt and some kind of satchel that seems bulging with weird protrusions, like it's carrying a weird assortment of things inside this sack. The other, you've seen these things before, although they are rare. They're not entirely dissimilar to you, except known as, in Arakocra, and I realize now I misspelled that, in Arakocra terms, they're sometimes considered the cursed cousins. Kenku. Two black Kenku. The one at the front almost making little pathetic, odd flapping motions with its arms, and it calls back its croaking voice lost in the wind to the other one, and the other one just gives this kind of absent-minded wave as it's steering the carriage with some kind of strange contract, pulling on back and forth on this long lever next to it. What do you want to do to get their attention, or just follow?
So you say the torch was on the carriage as a place of honor?
It's on the other one. There's like this weird flaming torch at the top, but the fire is there's something odd about that. Are you trained in Arcana?
Let's see. Am I trying? No, I'm not trying.
All right, so it's all you can make out is the flames there. Or you're not sure exactly what's burning, but it's a weird, slightly weird color of flame coming off this torch. Otherwise, you only see these weird red-hatted creatures, small creatures. There's about 6 of them crawling around on this other one, and then the other machine is being piloted by this Kenku.
Well, okay, so we have 2, one's the Kenku, right? So I can fly over, and it's been a long time since I've been away and have used the privy. So I'll just drop a load.
I'm sorry. The Arakocra just seagulled them. I'm gonna have to ask you to make, quite honestly, the strangest ranged attack roll I've ever heard of.
I think that is warranted.
So would I use I guess the same attack I was used for a dart, except it's a different kind of dart. Got it.
Is he proficient?
Yes.
I've done this before. All right,
Yofin
so I'm gonna
said,
roll.
Takes poop shoot to a new level.
Yes, it does, Yofen. Yes, it takes poop shoot to a whole new level.
That'll be an 18.
An 18 is a hit, a very palpable hit. So, what were you aiming at?
Oh, one of the Kenkus at the front.
The Kenku at the front is doing the whole like flying thing. At the front is like the feathers happily, and there's big bird turd just goes half on the beak.
Said, and there's a giant splurt sound.
Just all the way down the side of the beak and face and down part of its chest, and it just and it's like croaking out in anger, and oddly it says, Barney, you bastard Barney. The other Kenku looks and just starts doing this croaking kind of sound, which takes you a second to realize it's probably laughter, and then the one wipes away at its face and Barney, you bastard, and they start looking around. You're not really trying to hide, so they spot you pretty quickly, and they start pointing.
I do a wink.
And dive bomb. Nice. You circle by and they start motioning, and a loud whistle gets the attention of the second one. And this, you do notice that burning torch on the top goes and pivots. It's this skull fully aflame with this strange trailing flame and it pivots, and then as if by its will, the carriage itself careens towards the other one, and they both start their arc around, following you. A couple of the red-hatted small creatures clamber up on top and pull off this kind of tarp, and underneath you can make out what looks like an oversized crossbow, a small ballista attached to the side of one of these things, and you can hear them chattering and laughing. And then they try to shoot at you. You are pretty far, so they are at disadvantage.
Oh, we're nowhere near dim light or anything, right? Just asking. Asking for a friend.
Let me put it this way. Go ahead and roll a percentage check. It's right on the edge of dim light, so it depends really on how much cloud cover there is. Yeah. All right. It actually is dim light. I was giving you a 50-50 chance that it was on that edge, and if a cloud comes across, blocks a little bit of it, you can be considered dim light. You don't need it because I rolled with disadvantage a 16 and a 1. Not 1. So the red-hatted figure loads up this massive crossbow, and another one comes clambering up. They start shoving each other as though they're trying to argue over who gets to pull the trigger, and one of them shoves the other one, makes this like and hits it, but where he shoved the other one was into the mechanism, so the massive crossbow goes off with this strange one of the strange red-hatted creatures, and literally flings it into the air off of the machine. It hits the dirt and rolls, and it smashes against a rock and is still. The rest of the machines go tearing past, and the other red-hatted creatures, they're red caps, all right? They're just red caps. I'm just gonna put that out there. You see, like, the other 5 of them just start busting out laughing at the fate of their friend that just got flung. They're like, and then they come up and they like start smacking the other one and laughing and trying to reload the ballista. All right. They are now heading in. All right. They are definitely heading in your direction. Our direction. Archibald warns the others. You're a couple of minutes out at this point, Falurie.
Let's get into a position to ambush them. Is there like anything that we can use?
There's
Like,
some,
is there anything around us to hide and like?
there's some rock outcroppings a little bit to your east that aren't too far. If you move there kind of quick, like, you'll probably be okay. That would probably be your best bet for any kind of cover, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's move there and take cover. While I go, I'm going to exchange my last 3 sorcery points and my 4th level and convert them into a 5th level slot.
All right. Sure thing. So you're concentrating and walking along at the same time, trying to... Oh, this thing is taking a little while to load. I'm going to drag you guys onto the map. One moment, please. Oh boy, so many maps, so little time. By the way, I like to use patron-based maps for RPG stuff, so I'll try to shout out any of the patron maps that we use. Today, I think I'm using something I got from Dynamic Dungeons, but some of the other ones I use today are from Pogs Props, and you can find them both on Patreon, and you should definitely support them. We are in no way affiliated. They don't even know we exist, but I do support them when I can, and that's what you're going to be looking at in just a second. All right, guys, I don't know if you can see this map, so I will reveal it, and you definitely know you can see the terrain, so there you go. Go ahead and place yourselves on the map wherever you would like. The machines are coming from that way, so they're moving up in the opposite direction of that arrow.
So I'm not with the rest of the group, so I'm...
So that was like a ping.
Yeah, sorry. The machines are going to be coming from this side, so go ahead and place yourselves where you wish.
Standard scale.
So I'm more with the machines than I am with the party right now, though, right?
At the moment, yes, currently.
I mean, we had some time to actually plan for
Sure.
something.
Yeah, you got a little bit of time.
And now that we have a map to plan around, what are you thinking, Gordon?
I'm thinking we put ourselves in an area that we can hide and ambush them.
Right. Do you think we should be spread out and each individually ambushable, or should we be trying to like all be around the same corner and jump out together, like different ways of approaching it?
I think those of us who are more stealthy, so Darmita and Archibald should be together. Unless there's like someone who can cast Pass Without Trace, then we should all be together. But if we don't have that, then the ones who are more stealthy should be together.
I do have a quick question.
Sure.
Housekeeping question, Todd.
Yep. Housekeeping. Sorry.
When we kind of got sucked out of where we were, I still had my 8-hour
Your hunter's mark?
hunter's mark up, but I don't think, because I think I had cast it onto somebody and then they had died and my turn was coming around and I was going to move it, I think. Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't really remember. I think so. Let me just, with all that went on and all the emotional upset of Benkuhm and everything, I'm going to have to ask you to roll a Constitution saving throw to see if you've maintained concentration that whole time.
Sounds legit.
That is...
So, Todd, I would like to be somewhere I can get full cover because I don't think I can successfully hide very well. So if there just isn't line of sight, that's preferable. Especially if I could like have line of sight to like Fenris or Darmita, so that when they jump out, I'll know that we're jumping out. If that makes sense.
Your best bet
But I won't have line of sight to the enemies because I'm trying to not have line of sight for them to me.
Your best bet to do that might be to clamp. These rocks are the smaller sections are probably only about 5 feet wide, high, but some of them rise up to be like 20, 30 feet high, or even taller. So up here is very tall, versus kind of this section over here is down to about 8 feet. Where you are starts out low and gets quite high with this precipice.
Okay,
You can,
that makes sense.
this one that Darmita's just behind is a bit of a kind of a random jutting up, almost like finger, and you can get around behind it.
Right, but that does sound like it would require, actually having a decent stealth, because you're trying to find the right spots to stand, because it's
Right.
inconsistent. Sure, okay, I'll try and get over here-ish. How much movement would I need to actually be
You've got a
effective in
couple
any
minutes.
situation?
You've got a couple minutes before they get here, but you'd be looking at
So
probably
far I can get a
70
single.
feet, 60, 70 feet from Darmita there.
Yeah. All right, cool.
You can hear the machines getting louder and louder as they approach.
I think I will go stand with Darmita, assuming she's okay with that, because
I think everybody should stand with me, because I am gonna cast Pass Without a Trace,
Nice.
and I got a 16.
On the concentration, okay, you do
I dropped it anyways because I.
Yeah,
pass without trace.
without trace.
Yeah.
cool.
So it's
Okay, so everyone has plus 10 on their stealth checks. And Archibald, somebody want to place Archibald somewhere?
Oh, sure. Archie will be somewhere as well. So like, I don't know, here maybe. Assuming that's not going to drop off with the line of sight, but I think that should still be enough from the angle they're approaching from.
All right. I may have to pop over and just pull up a few more things, but we'll worry about that in a second. So the machines come tearing up through this little pass between the outcroppings, and you can just make them out as... and Falurie, they've been gaining on you. You can see at one point the Kenku in the back doing the steering kind of reaches up, kind of pecks at something for a second, and then just reaches around behind it and fishes around for a second, and then you just hear you actually see and hear the engine just belch, and this burst of flame comes kicking out from the back of it as it suddenly lurches forward almost twice as fast as it was before. This one here, I don't know if you can see the label, it's called a Tormentor with large spiked wheels. It goes just bursting speed ahead. All right, Falurie, if you want to place yourself somewhere...
How do I do that?
That's an excellent question. I think we can just...
drag it from the name in the... that's not bad. Good description. In the sidebar where you would click on your character to pop it up, you then drag it by the name. Yeah.
I gotcha. So it is gaining on you. You're a little bit further ahead, but this wheeled machine is just tearing up behind you faster and faster, driven by the two Kenku.
Cool. If these are like weird fingers, like you said, can we like get a line of sight on these or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's relatively easy to poke out your head and see. They're really cracked and jagged, so you can definitely spot little holes where you can get line of sight and still remain relatively covered. All right, if you're doing stealth, please roll a stealth check.
All right, let's go. Let's see, stealth. That's a nat 1. I mean, that makes sense. I was trying to get a look at it.
Yeah. And you're adding
Archie,
10 to
second one.
these.
Yeah, so Archie got a 31. Henrietta got a natural 1 for a 14 total.
All right, so 14, 20, 31, and 20. Okay. So as you're tearing up, you see Falurie get low. Falurie, it took you a little while to figure out exactly where the rest of your party was, but let's assume you managed to spot them and work out where they were going. So you are whipping through here. What's your passive perception there, Falurie?
18.
All right, you definitely see Henrietta kind of peek her head up behind these rocks, and the glint off the metal of the plate mail that she's wearing, and some rocks kind of go skittering down and make a little bit of noise. A clang of metal a little bit as she's moving around with her shield and clumsily readying her mace. You can see Henrietta no problem. Everyone else you don't see at all.
Okay, so what I want to do is essentially lead them to where Henrietta is. Then once I see that they would be in somewhat of a range, I'd use my action and turn invisible.
All right, so you start to close ranks over to this side, and the machine is closing very quickly behind. Both of them are. The other one has fallen a little bit further back. You can see the two Kenku, just anger in their eyes, and the large spike thing gets lowered into position like a lance. You're still up in the air, and they're just busy tearing after you. All right. Does anybody else want to...
Now that they're closer, how much are we seeing of the people on the machines?
You can make out the two Kenku, no problem. You see a skull figure, not even body, just a floating, blazing skull on the top of the other machine, the second machine a little bit further back, and you see it's crawling with 5 different red cap, mad, almost feral, fey creatures that have a very bad reputation for murder.
I'll add some contextualization for my my Nat 1 there, where they get closer and I out loud say, hey, those aren't fiends. Or those don't look like fiends, I should say. I think I actually will want to use action to make sure, but yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so I say that.
One of them, well, you're not trained in Arcana, are you?
I think I only have religion. So if it's a religion sort of associated thing.
I'm training in Arcana though.
Yeah. I only have religion as far as knowledge skills go.
All right, well, you don't really know what that flaming skull thing is, but it doesn't look very friendly. Everything else doesn't look like a fiend.
Yeah.
All right. What anybody want to do before we kick this off?
I just want to check the flaming skull, since I do know Arcana.
Sure.
That's sticking out.
I'm gonna need to look this up. It is a flame skull. It's the monster stat of a flame skull. It is, I believe, undead, but I need to double check.
Yeah, that's an undead creation from a wizard usually.
Yeah.
There is nothing I do intend to do, but I expected it to be my first action of initiative and not something I could preempt with, which is using divine sense to just actually know the identity of these things.
Sure. I don't know if you can.
So that's my
make out a flame skull.
Okay.
It is definitely known for being not nice, but nothing in hell seems to be very nice, and it is known to have some kind of magical abilities. You've heard tell of those creatures before, casting spells with their baleful eyes.
I got real close. Cool.
All right, Darmita, what do you want to do to prepare?
Yeah, I've got my trusty longbow ready, arrow knocked, and I'm also kind of getting ready to throw my last level 3 hunter's mark on the flamed creature.
All right, you see you take a glance out of the corner of your eyes. Archibald has taken off his coat. Underneath is this stained, well-worn, almost like wife beater style undershirt and pants, and he's no longer the dandy. He's now the pit fighter mode, and he's taken off his wig and folded everything neatly, placed it on a rock, hefts out the light sword but doesn't actually ignite the sunblade, cracks his neck, spits on the ground, and looks at you all and says, "What?" They're gonna fight dirty. We might as well too. All right, Falurie, kick us off. What do you want to do?
All right. Well, so I've already went invisible.
Yep. Okay, so you poof, bamf out of sight, and the Kenku you can hear behind you be like, "Hey!"
Yeah. So then I fly a little bit upwards, so I'm out of the way of their momentum.
I'll let you move yourself. The Arakocra goes just almost over the group hiding in there, and the machines go tearing past. Now the one Kenku is just eyes on, trying to find where the bird that had pooped all over it went. The other one steers the machine almost misses, and then looks back and sees the glint of Henrietta kind of scrambled up on a bit of a rock there. Doesn't actually make out the others, covered in red dust as they are, and the machine screeches as it makes a hard turn, travels another like 10 or 15 feet, and just I shouldn't have rotated that, it looks stupid. And it looks like it's starting to slow down, but it's not quite a stop. In fact, it's spinning, the back end is spinning out and just kicking up dust in this ring, almost like it's pulling a donut. The other one begins to close and slow down, and the flame skull at the top kind of looking back and forth, and suddenly calls out.
I'm gonna start walking out as if I wasn't hiding.
Sure.
Do we get our ambush attack?
If you want to, sure. Henrietta kind of spoiled a bit of it, but if you can declare your actions and we'll figure out what happens. Or as a distraction. What do you want to do?
I'm, as I said, when I see the creature, the flamed creature is on this.
The second one.
Oh, on this one?
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
The further back one.
Why is this not working for me?
Are you using? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll kind of just sneak up a little bit, and I will, let me see how far they are to us now.
Pretty close. 25 feet.
Yeah, that's more than close enough. I'm going to bonus action put my Hunter's Mark on him.
Mm-hmm.
And unleash a fury of shots on him.
You mean like on the
skull
vehicle?
itself, right?
Oh, the skull. Okay.
Hold on, I've got to find it. I don't have the actual icons loaded, so it's going to take a second.
So
Let's just for now assume. Go ahead and make your rolls.
I'm going to make all of my rolls at once. So we got a 29, a 23, and a 13. Does the 13 miss?
13 just misses.
Good. I will use my feature, which is called Stalker's Flurry. And that allows me then, I learn to attack with such an unexpected speed that I can turn a miss into another strike once on each turn when I miss with the weapon attack.
All right. The first arrow slams into its jaw and takes a little chisel out. You see this. You see that it hit one of the teeth, and it actually like doing 20 points of damage in all, 2 arrows. So one of them claves off its forehead, and it kind of spins a little bit. The other one hits it right in the tooth, and the tooth just chips out and goes skittering across somewhere in the base of the machine. And the thing's like reeling from the sudden hits. The head suddenly spins almost preternaturally fast in your direction, and then the 13, which would have just about missed, like it just missed, and you released another arrow. It literally flies through the open mouth, but it's like and goes right on through. Not doing any damage. That was the 13. You get another shot off at that last second, just super fast getting that 15 out. And it sees the arrow coming, and it looks like it's going to just take it right in the eye. And then, boom, shield. The last arrow shatters against a shield as it just then gets a reaction off.
All right, well, I still get... all right.
Sorry to ruin your fun, but it saw that. After the first hit, it saw the rest coming and used its reaction.
All right, so that's 20. Unfortunately, 28.
8.
And
That's
that dropped.
still pretty darn good off of a single surprise attack round. Oh no.
I lost my
You're fancy.
yeah.
Sorry about
So-
that. But it did see it. Yeah. All right. Next up, we didn't roll initiative, so we'll just go around the horn. So that was Bela. Falurie, what do you want to be doing?
All right, so everybody seems to be going for the flame skull.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are on the vehicle?
There's 6 in all. The flame skull on the very top of it, and then the 5 remaining red caps.
And what about the other vehicle, the Kankus?
There's 2 Kankus on the other vehicle. They both
That's it?
screeching and croaking. That's it on the other one. It could hold more, but it was just 2 of them.
I'll go for one of the Kankus. So I'll use my bonus action and dim light to teleport 60 feet
Okay.
right beside one of them.
And you suddenly become visible after that.
Mm-hmm. But I get advantage on my attack.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's do that. So unarmed strike. Not 20.
Damn.
That's not 20 on the first one.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then damage.
Did you want to go after the driver or the one who's standing?
The one who's standing at the moment.
All right, the one covered in bird poop. Your bird poop.
Yep. So
Little
double-
side note, you would have had to like lower your britches, and then as you're flying away from them, pull them back up. Anyway, I'm assuming you wear some kind of pants. Sorry, I'm distracted
Yes,
by the visual.
quite dexterous. So that was a 5 total damage, but if it's critical, you double the damage. Is that it? Or
Usually I say roll twice, but you could. I'm not too picky. You can
You
just
don't
double,
double your like
your bonus damage.
dex.
Yeah.
You only double the die roll.
Yeah.
okay, so that's a total of 13 then.
All right. Nice.
And then the other attack.
The
I get
first
it.
one you just pop up and just crack them right in the top of the face, and the whole bird just kind of.
I get advantage on it though, right?
Yep, you did. Yeah.
So then instead of we had 25, a little bit better.
All right. So yeah, it's absolutely caught flat-footed, and just second hit does crack into it as you go for the kidney shot.
And
It's
it does
really backwards. At this point,
big
you
5
realize it's
damage.
actually wearing a harness and is strapped in. Otherwise, that shot probably would have knocked it off its feet. So the first one, it goes limp against the harness, and it's not unconscious, but it's definitely knocked back. The second one, it bends over and croaking at you in anger. The other one screeches out and says, "Who's that pretty bird?" A little side note.
we can call him pretty.
Kenku cannot speak except what they have been spoken to, just so you know. You would know that. They're cursed to not
Got
have
it.
a voice of their own. All right, coming up next around the horn, Fenris, what do you want to do?
Are these two vehicles still moving?
They are both moving a little bit still. The one that Falurie just popped onto, actually continuing to move. That one was continuing to do a bit of a donut and moving in kind of a circular to the right fashion. The other one goes screeching to a halt, but it takes a little while. It takes a good 30 feet before it comes to a stop, almost directly in front of you. The flame skull kind of waving back and forth, and all the red caps cheering.
So I think I would know with my Arcana that red caps are kind of evil, right? Like, yeah. Okay.
They're known to be, at the very best, very chaotic. They aren't they have a reputation for murder, but in fact, that's why they get the red hats. But they're not entirely without reason. They may be mad and chaotic, but they are not totally. They're not animals. They are at best kind of. Yeah, they're chaotic, and they can be evil if they feel like doing it, and they don't. By reputation, they don't have any qualms about doing horrible things for their own entertainment.
Right. I am going to. I don't like this flaming skull thing, so I'm a little worried about that. I'm going to cast telekinesis.
All right.
With my 5th level, and I'm going to grab the flaming skull and throw it under the wheel while it's still moving.
All right, it is coming to a halt, so yep, go ahead and make your ability check. It does have magic resistance, though. As you realize, as you reach out to do this, it's like, oh, that's a slippery little bastard.
Okay.
Because it's a contested ability check, I'm going to give it advantage on its ability check to resist this. Oof, that doesn't seem to help all that much. What is it? It's either Dex or
Strength.
It's
Strength.
All right. It badly fails the Strength resist with its -5, so gets a total of 3. And you just fling this thing underneath its own wheels, and the machine carries on another 5 feet, climbing up and over the skull. It's somewhere underneath the machine now, as the machine finally comes to a stop, and the redcaps all cheer and howl and laugh at the misfortune of this, whatever this was. And 2 of them point over at you and just like, and pull out these, what are short swords, but they're jagged, weirdly positioned blades, not smooth, but very triangular, like they're pieces of random metal that they found and fashioned into weapons. 2 of them point at you and pull these knives out, and one of them puts it in its mouth, and it hops down off the thing. It goes running across the ground towards the rest of you.
Well, I'm moving back.
Yeah. Henrietta.
Yeah, okay, so without, checks or spells or anything, what do I get to know for free about what I'm seeing, people-wise?
They're not...
Because I have my own opinions in my brain, but I don't, like...
They... Good, do an insight check for me, if you don't mind. You get this for free, because you've been kind of observing. Okay. That's why your stealth was awful.
Yeah, I'll take it. Insight. 5.
Not great. If anything...
I meant more just do Kenkus exist on the Prime Materia?
Yes, they do.
In my experience, they do, but I don't know about in this setting. Okay,
yes, they do exist.
So theoretically,
they're relatively rare.
Are they part of society?
They do exist on the fringes of society, and some find success with their mimicry ability. They do not have the ability to speak on their own, but that doesn't stop them from getting a collection of other people's words and using them in a timely manner. They are intelligent. They are often pretty good with their hands. They've been cursed to be flightless, at least if the myths are true. They've been cursed to be flightless and voiceless for having offended some deity. I don't remember which one. I, the GM, don't remember.
Sure, and our world is deity matchup anyway.
Yeah.
All All right, cool. So what I would previously said I was doing was sort of like calmly walking forward as I see this, sort of turn around, and I notice there can't go out. Then this other one sort of plows through, which I kind of didn't notice as much. Like I knew it was there, but I hadn't got as good look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And these are much less reputable looking individuals, so that's cool. I will start with just using Divine Sense. So I start walking forward, and I just have like a big and
this bard paladin in glinting plate mail goes walking across the reddened, dusty plain. Yeah. These two machines just slowly grinding to a halt, and it's almost like slow-mo for a second. Your cape is doing that. You're gripping your mace in your one hand, your shield in the other.
No, I don't. I've not picked up the mace. I have a shield.
Sorry.
I'm not. My mace is still at my hip.
On your hip. That's cool.
That up anytime soon.
So you go walking forward.
Point is, Divine Sense is an action.
Absolutely. It's almost like this echo of it's only you can see it. It's not actual light, but it's as if this ring of light just goes out like a sonar, and you get these little pings.
The location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet of you.
So
it doesn't include Fae.
You do get a ping from the undead still underneath the machine somewhere. It is a flame skull. Although it is small, it is pretty intense. So it is not your run of the mill. It's not a skeleton. It's not an easy summon. The others, they are neither fiends nor you don't pick up the Fae. You get a little bit of a ping off of fiendish nature of the machines that they're riding.
Right.
You actually, it's more than just a ping. You're like, it's as if they are collections of little pieces of fiendish nature. Not all of them. And actually one of the machines, the far one, with the Kenku we're driving, you get a bit of a stronger pulse off of the rear right side of that machine. Some kind of devilish influence back there. You can't quite make it out, but it's on the rear right side. There might be something there, but it's definitely the machine itself. It's a very strange thing. And you also get a sense that the Kenku and one of the red caps have a small hint of like a fiendish strong. It's as if it was something that a fiend strongly influenced. It's not a fiend itself.
Right. Cool. Okay. So
and it seems to be
or something
carried on them. It's almost like your eye is drawn to the one red cap with the blade in its teeth. You see it's on its pouch, dangling from its belt. You get a sense something in that has a fiendish nature to it. And somewhere on the other Kenku, which you're having trouble making out from here, you get another sense of that weird fiendish echo. Okay. What do you want to do?
That's like my turn. That's my turn, but I think I start like talking.
Sure. What do you want to say?
I'm probably not going to get through all of it, so it doesn't super matter. But it's along the lines of, "Hail, travelers! You're not. Are you from around here?" And it'll keep going, but just skip ahead to someone else.
The red caps answer.
Yeah, I'm mostly looking towards the Kenku when I say this, but I guess they're probably distracted by this.
The one is getting punched in the face and kidneys. The other one is screeching the machine to a halt and looks over at you and opens its beak and mutters a string of obscenities that would make a sailor proud. They've clearly heard some swear words before. Sure. And the tone of the voice is slightly higher, almost reminiscent of the red caps.
Cool.
All right. At this point, Archibald goes, "Let's do this," and he lights up the bright sword next to him, and then he goes to take a step, and his leg resists, and he looks back, and this little trunk has wrapped itself around his ankle, and Lulu, the old man, but in Holophant form, is looking up at him, and it looks at him, and he pauses for a second, the gleaming bright yellow sunblade in his hand ignited, and it looks back at the little thing. He's like, what? Them? Turns off the sunblade and calls out to the rest of you. We may need to parley.
Parlay. It's kind of like...
He looks
If I
over at
can, I would like
Fenris.
to be able to say something about, like, point out the two that look like they've been directly influenced, if I have a moment to do so. I don't know if I do or not.
What do you mean by that?
Just like, that one there, that one, possessed or in a bargain or something. And then I go back to what I was saying.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like
addressing
the
Kenku.
fiendish things that they are possessing. It is definitely something on them that is fiendish. Oh, and one of the Kenkus draws a hammer. I'm sorry. A hammer that has a fiendish tint to it, but again is not a fiend itself.
Right, totally.
Archibald calls out, hold up. And you can choose to ignore him and keep going, or you can keep doing. What do you want to do?
Well, normally Archibald never holds up, so I'm willing to kind of see it play out a bit.
You're all kind of looking at him quizzically, and he looks back at Lulu on the ground, who's just weakly holding its little head up, and he's like, you better be right. And he calls out, Chaka? And you hear one of the Kenku go, "Arr!" And then Archibald looks back at the Lulu, and Lulu's looking up at him, doing this little trumpet thing, and he's like, is anyone else close to Archie, like within about 10 feet? Darmita, and Henrietta. Actually, most of you. You can now hear this weakened little voice coming out of the old man, out of Lulu, as Lulu is explaining. And by the way, I didn't put Lulu, but it's right behind Archibald there. And Lulu quietly, telepathically whimpers and exhausted. It's just barely keeping his head up. And it turns to you and says, Chaka, Clonk, they helped me once. I remember. And it looks at Darmita for that last one. I remember some. And passes out.
Cool.
What do you want to do?
I mean, it's combat, right? Like, no, I mean, like, things are happening, right? Like, there's, I don't know how much time we have to do a thing right now.
So who heard that?
All the party. Except maybe Falurie. Actually, no, not Falurie. Yeah, I think it's 120 feet range, actually. So yeah, everyone heard it. Even the red caps, you suddenly realize, are reacting like they just heard a voice, and they're like, what the heck was that? So everybody seems to be holding for the second.
Okay. Chaka, Clunk, or if you're the two Kenku, you may know one of our people here.
Barney, you bastard.
Do you know Lulu?
All right. And they look at each other, and then the one who was the driver goes, and it opens its beak, and it goes, I see, and it opens its, and in a fairly good impression of the old man.
Nice.
It goes, I seem to have forgotten. Who?
Thinking about time and how things might play out. I imagine these red caps are not slowing down, really. I guess you said they're like sort of a little bit stunned.
They were very surprised when the telepathic voice rang out, and they kind of glanced at each other, and two of them now change tacks and go looking under the machine for the skull that got thrown underneath there. And the other three appear to be closing up on...
that I got a ping from.
Yeah. It's now a good maybe 8 feet from you, and they kind of posted up in a little circle. Yeah, they're like on the ground and everything. They got down. I want to go grab that guy. Just like, all right, I'm just going to hold on to you, make sure nothing happens. Make an athletics check, please. It is contested.
Cool. So yeah, I just sort of like, I don't know, move over and think, all right, let's talk this out. And I just grabbed somebody to hold on to them. Where's my thing? It's the one thing that I'm good at. Let's hope it works.
Oh, you're at disadvantage, but yeah.
25.
Whew. All right. Oh, yes, you are at disadvantage.
I am. It's still at 25.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, you, I believe, beat it, although they are pretty dexy. Oh, they're actually surprisingly strong.
How big are they? They're like, are they small?
They're small. They're gnomish size. And
that's what I thought.
And you can see they actually, several of them have their hoods right down and just their eyes poking out, but this one has its hood pulled back. You can see these tusks of white whiskers poking out and a little teeny beard, and it's looking at you like, with this long, jagged blade.
Hold on for a moment. Is it coming?
It looks like it's feeling too calm.
Go through languages. Yeah.
You hit on Sylvan. Do you know Sylvan?
Nah, I only know Dwarvish, Elvish, Common, and Celestial.
Okay, it responds to Common as you grab the thing and it's like, and you're restraining it, yes? Trying to not let it...
I'm grappling it. You can't restrain normally, but yeah.
It looks like, "For me down, you little bastard, I'm gonna fucking kill you."
All right, just calm down. And like again, time passes. It's the initiative.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be It actually, no, it's going to try and hit you. It's a red cap.
That's fine. Yeah, totally. Right. This is her entire strategy. It's just like, let things try to hit you and hold them and say, no, you can't hit me. Stop trying.
Yeah, it's literally kicking its feet, trying to kick you in the balls, but it's just too small, and you just keep holding it at farther arm length as it rolls a 10. The other ones flank in and try to get you as well, rolling terribly.
She is holding a shield, but she's just isn't holding a weapon, so she just has like this gauntleted fist holding on to the person, and then the shield elsewise, just like
Henrietta is the grappler. So yeah, you have no problem just imposing the shield between you and these little red caps, just one after the other, as they're scratching along your shield with no effect. They rolled a 5 and an 8. Cool. The Kenku that are both on the other machine, one of them just pushes Falurie back, but doesn't appear to be trying to do damage, and is kind of wiping this bird shit off of its face. The other one pulls on a lever, and the whole machine shudders, and then goes still. And it stands up and looks over at Falurie and gives this little like...
You pooped on me. Gives it that look. We know that look. We all know that look, right? We know that look?
Yeah. Glory from above. So right now
you guys can press the advantage if you want, but the red caps are attacking Henrietta ineffectively, but the others seem to be holding off and kind of looking back and forth between everybody involved, kind of sizing everything up. And they look over and they see the little Holophant. The one that you have pooped on and punched a bunch unclips from the machine, and if you let it, it's going to jump off the machine and go moving. You can attack if you want to as it moves, or you can let it go. It doesn't seem to...
I'll let it go and turn invisible.
Okay. You go invisible again. I didn't even stop that on your icon. As this thing hops down, and it calls back, and it opens its beak, and it says, best 2 out of 3. Best 2 out of 3. And it doesn't see where you went, and then it goes running back over, and it slows as it approaches Archie, who's just standing there ready to frickin' throw down. Looks over at Henrietta, and then looks over at Lulu on the ground, and kind of motions like, best 2 out of 3. It's not carrying a weapon, and it's moving a little bit closer It's now 10 feet from Lulu. Gonna close to 5 feet if nobody imposes.
All right.
Darmita, do you want to do
You
anything?
feeling this, Fenris, or you want me to talk? I'm just like swatting people away at the same time. Yeah.
I think it's Darmita's turn to decide to do something.
Yeah, I think as I see it going toward Lulu, I would interject. I would get in between.
All right, so you move in between the two, and it kind of backs off. Its arms up, the feathers kind of stopping before these kind of clawed bird-like hands.
And I just look down at it.
Best 2 out of 3. And it wipes the bird shit and a bit of blood off of its face. And then the other one hops off the machine now and taking this string of what is basically a keychain, but it's a string of bones with it, like skulls and other things dangling, and then loops that over its head as it hops down. It's a bigger one than the one that's hopped down and is standing near Lulu. It goes kind of padding forward, light on its feet, but definitely bulkier than the others as it moves down, not too far from the machine, and moves a little bit closer and calls out and says, Take her to boss. Take her to boss.
These little ones are friends of yours. These little scamps.
It looks over, cracks its neck, and looks down at them, and it gives a whistle. And the redcaps kind of flinch. One of them gives a last thwack against your shield, and then they go scampering back to their own machine. And the two of them have now managed to get the flame skull out from underneath the machine. It's definitely scattered.
Okay, I'll let go of the one I was holding though. All right.
All right, I think this is a good time for us to take a quick little pause. So I'm going to take a break, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Okay? Cool.
That's
you
good.
guys can decide what you want to do. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes.
I want to get my damn hunter's mark back.
All right. I think we are back. Hello, internets. Hello, my name. Oh, I guess I will put the cameras back on. Hi, internet. We're back. Thanks for waiting. We just had to do a quick little break. The joys of being a dad and a dungeon master at the same time. Good times. I know some people out there were like, oh, yeah, been there. Anyway, and even if you're not, there's always random interruptions. Yay. Anyway, so these guys were in hell. They were surrounded by weird, strange creatures that are not fiends, and yet they ride on these weird, fiendish machines. So I'll turn it back over to you guys. What do you want to do?
Darmita's just looking around perplexed.
What happened to the flame skull? Actually, it got pulled out from underneath.
It's being pulled out right now as two of the red caps are wrestling it out from being stuck under what is essentially an axle and kind of wedged underneath. They're digging in the dirt. You see the dust being kicked up, and eventually they dig down enough to free the flame skull, and it comes wobbling out under its own power.
It's like kind of the odd one out, and I know it's undead. Can I try and figure out any specific things about it? Like, I don't know. I don't think I would know things normally. Like, it's not a religious thing.
You can go ahead and do a perception check to kind of just
like
get a good look at it.
But I thought maybe I could do like an
okay.
Proficient Arcana.
Sure. The DC is going to be higher, though, as a result.
Sure. That's fine. I'll roll a 7. I'm sure that's good enough.
All that you know about flame skulls is that they're known to be created by arcane means, and usually
The
not.
thing I really wanted to know is like how are they? Because like I know the answer to this, but like are they an intelligent thing that does its own thing? Is it autonomous or is it like scripted?
It is. Well, you're just you actually kind of get your answer as you see this thing as it comes wobbling out from underneath there and looks up and, oh, yes, thank you. Yes. All right. Wow. What the hell was that? What are you laughing at, Reddy? Stop it. And it looks over at you guys, and it's got this kind of pompous nature to it, a little bit, and it seems to be missing now 2 of its teeth, and the red caps are just howling with laughter. Looking at this thing as it's missing the 2 front teeth. Right there, it's like, what? Shut up and get back on the vehicle. Oh, why must I do everything myself? And it looks up at you guys, and just kind of its eyes filled with flame flash with anger for a second, and then it shakes itself and spins around and flies back up onto the top of the vehicle, and you can see the vehicle kind of responding as it makes contact, just starting to kind of wiggle a little bit and turn the wheels.
I'll look back at Fenris. And like I said, they're not devils. Or demons, for that matter.
One of the red caps whips just a piece that had broken off the machine, and from underneath, equivalent of a shard of a hubcap at the flame skull, and it goes clipping off the side of its skull, and it flames back, and there's about 3 of them there, and they all point at each other.
It was him. It was him. No, it was him. Screw you.
Okay, this is awkward. Kenku, you seem to know our unconscious friend Lulu. Here's the thing. We need to get back, and I point to El Terrell to pick up a friend of ours. Kind of urgent. We'll owe you a favor. Can you get us there? Lickety-split fast? And I'm going to try to persuade him.
Go ahead and roll persuasion. And this other Kenku, the bigger one, kind of motions back the other way a little bit, almost to the south of where you guys are, and motions and waves its hand as if being like,
What a deal.
We can go...
Patience is a virtue. Can't keep the boss waiting.
Happy to meet your boss after, but we need to pick up a friend of ours who's been left behind. And I just try to roll persuasion. 19.
Nice. The 2 Kenku look at each other, and the one just absentmindedly wipes the bird shit off of its face, and then they kind of confer back and forth in almost a sign language / chirping, and a few words mixed in.
I'm just gonna help him out too. Just get the bird shit off his face.
You just wave your hand, and it's all comes off, and it's hovering in midair for a few seconds, and then you drop it, and it just goes.
It's be a friend. We'll owe you one. We'll meet your boss, but we got to pick up a friend of ours who's in need.
And they both look at each other again, and then look down at the Hollyphant. And then they chirp up at the flame skull on the thing, and it's like,
Barney, get Barney.
And the flame skull's looking around at this red, and you actually see it cast a flame bolt at one of these one of the red caps that jumps up in the air like it's making him dance, and then it looks back and is like, all right, let's do this. And then the Kenku go clambering back up on their machine in motion.
Can't
keep
keep waiting.
How much? Yeah.
Do we
have to go on
there's about
the other machine? Or?
There's about 3 spaces with the Kenku one, 3 kind of weird little seats, and then on the other one there's another 2.
Yeah, I'm going with Kenku.
All right.
Okay. I'll look to the red caps, and I'll say something like, "You part of this too? You're willing to take us?"
The one that you had before, you're still holding, looks at you and is like,
Yeah, well, we do it the boss once. And when she's not here, we do what I want.
Appreciate it if I could pick your brain on the way, but
Sure,
stop, the most important.
stop bloody choking me.
or did you already put it down?
I did.
I
specifically
didn't
said
catch that
I
one,
let
sorry.
go. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like,
As soon as they started cooperating, I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll take that, the other one. The red cap one.
all right, so you hop on the red guy. You're probably the best to carry the Hollyphant, although Archie's definitely willing to help.
happily
He'll
do
also
that.
hop on the red cap one with the Hollyphant kind of between you and him. And I guess the three of you, Darmita, Falurie, and...
I don't think I would. No.
No?
Not gonna let the Holophant go in the other one.
Okay.
Fair.
I think, no offense, but I mean, I would lift the Holophant and move him to the
Oh, right, you
Benkuhm
got
one.
telekinesis still going.
And I think Darmita would take the third seat. Like, we're not splitting up one
That's fair.
and us.
That's fair. All right.
So, at the speed that they're gonna go, am I able to fly and just maintain speed with them, or?
Probably you could actually do that, and if it starts to get a little bit too fast, you can always kind of motion to land if you need to.
All right, so I'll do
I mean,
that.
you don't really need a seat. You can kind of hang on the outside like the red caps, and then if you need to fly,
yeah.
you can fly. There's enough room on them physically. All right, you guys clamber up on, and the Kenku hefts around the pouch and pulls out something. Do a perception. What's your passive perception, Fenris?
My passive
16?
perception is 16.
Okay, it's enough to see. You see it reach into this pouch, and it pulls out a glint of metal. It's this rusted round disc, like flat disc of this weird kind of iron metal with this emboss on it. On one side, there's this kind of logo of... you actually recognize this. You have one of these.
Is this one for one, serves one and then done?
Yes, and on the one side looks like this devil etching, which, if out of the corner of your eye, sometimes you actually... It's almost like you catch a glimpse of it almost shifting and moving slightly. And then on the other side, as it kind of fumbles with it, you see this horrifically, like, scared-looking face etched in the metal. It's a human-looking face, just... Actually, this... Do a memory check. Intelligence. Straight up intel.
Okay. All right. Nine.
Yeah, you just see this human face on there. You're like, oh, that's a bit odd. And then it takes this thing and it goes, pedal to the metal. And it takes this large coin and like stuffs it in the slot right next to the driver's seat and presses down on it. And you hear this clunk, clunk, clunk sound. And the engine just starts up again and roars. And you are now up on one of these infernal machines as it shudders to life. It almost feels like it's going to rattle itself apart. And they pull these levers and twist these knobs, and then the whole thing kind of lurches and then starts turning and spinning around and starts driving ridiculously fast in the direction of El Terrell where you'd left. Your hair is all like... you're moving in a very... Actually, Falurie, you have to come down and grab on to keep up at this point. They are just booking it across the plains.
Sounds like it's probably kind of impossible to actually have a conversation.
It's pretty loud. If you're yelling, you can make it out.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you guys want to? What do you want to? You're booking it. Do you want to jump ahead a little bit?
Yeah.
It's going to be about a 5-mile ride, and it's not a straight road or anything. So it's a dune buggy ride.
I guess people could take a short rest or something.
In fact, you have just enough time to take a short rest. So go ahead and spend some hit dice, unless you want to do something else to prepare.
No, I just want my key points back.
All right. Go ahead and take your short rest.
Yeah.
Being lookout.
We got like no one who needs short rests, and we suddenly have someone.
All right.
What's that, Bela?
Yeah.
I was just saying that I'm not going to take a short rest. I will be keeping a lookout.
All right. Go ahead and do a perception check with advantage.
Yeah. I will too, because a short rest don't do me any good.
You can spend hit dice if you want to.
Nah, I don't need it. I'm over my max.
I'm not over my max, but I am not letting go of my spell because it won't get me my slots back. So perception with advantage?
Yep.
I mean, you won't lose your spell for taking a short rest, right?
I
I believe you would cast Pass Without Trace anyway. Nice.
What? Passing Pass Without Trace?
You had been maintaining Pass Without
You
Trace.
did.
Oh no, you
No, I dropped it.
No.
you dropped it to Hunter's
And
Mark.
have Hunter's Mark again.
Yeah. So your Hunter's Mark is still up, and I believe it was on the Flame Skull.
So 21.
Oh, nice, with a crit. As you're approaching the El Terrell, you're actually making surprisingly good time. And those of you riding with the Flame Skull is relatively chatty, and it's calling out.
Like, I want to have a conversation, but
Absolutely.
I don't really know if I want to role play it out because it's probably not super interesting to everyone else at the table. But I'm trying to get information like, you're just people living down here. What's up with that? Like, you're
Sure.
not devils.
You're calling out.
How does that work?
And
Right. I mean, we have people here, and I want to help them. Is there someplace they can go? Like, I'm trying to get that kind of information over the hour.
Okay, so the Flame Skull, although it's a little distracted, its flame-licking tongue kind of poking at the fresh hole in its face where the arrow had hit it, is replying, and you basically gather that yes, we all seem to work for. We all find ourselves down here. I myself was not always like this. Once I was a wizard, and now, well, there are worse things and worse places here. We work for a creature named Mad Maggie, and she takes care of us, and we take care of her. What are you looking at? Get back down! Starts yelling at one of the red caps.
How did you end up down here? That's not my voice. What the heck just happened? Holy crap.
Honestly, some of it's a bit of a blur, but essentially I was cursed to be this way by.
Do you know about Trail? Like, is it like that?
It's El Terrell. No, I was not there. I lived near the, and he gives a name, and you have no freaking clue where it is. It's
Right.
As far as you know, it's not a city you've ever heard of. And well, you can do a history check if you want to.
Sure. I think I have that.
Just
Okay. I was wrong.
the did the 21 yield me anything?
Oh yes, we're gonna come back to that in just a sec.
So I do still have exhaustion technically, so it's not a nat 20. It's just
Okay.
22.
Still, it's pretty good. You
Yeah,
hear a
it's just
name. You hear this name that I'll fill it in later. Actually, Internet, we need a name
Sure, yeah,
of an old
exactly.
city. Internet, name our stuff if you want.
Yeah, and
Give
that's
us a
things, like,
name
we don't
of
need to do the
a
whole
city.
conversation.
Could be
right? It's just
any pantheon
stuff
or.
about.
So
you know.
you gather that he was from this city and had a rival, and the rival
I'm
cursed him.
asking stuff about like other cities falling in the way El Trail did. Is this a thing that you have heard about? I still don't really know even how that happened. Like that kind of stuff is what I'm trying to pick up the information on. Like, can we reverse this, or do I need to just get them out of there and move them someplace, right? Because I want to save these people. That's my number one priority. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. The city. No, this is new, and go ahead and roll persuasion. Actually,
sure. Persuasion. That's a 26 with disadvantage.
Nice.
Yo, Finn.
You have a
Said. Name of city, Xenix.
Xenix. I like it. So the Barnabas was from Xenix, and you've heard of a city that's sort of like that, but it's really, really old, almost lost to history. It's not quite along the lines of like, Alexandria or something like that, but it's sort of along those lines. Like it was a city, you were aware of it. It's been basically lost in the jungles of that area for at least a century, and it probably more than a century. You've heard the name before and read some books where they refer to it, but it is not an active city anymore. So Barnabas is quite old, or he's been down here quite a while, one or the other. He does mention that cities falling out of the sky is not common here. It seems like El Terrell seems to be new, and one of the red caps looks up at this point and calls out,
You're gonna see more.
Depending on how much time I have, like I obviously will like pursue that line of inquiry and yada yada, but you can cut me off whenever. Probably the one like thing I do want to get is any information on Mad Maggie. Like, are they? What is their stock? That kind of thing, right? But I would love to inquire after that red cap about what they meant by that. But again,
the red cap after that point seems a little coy. If you want to go and either deceive, persuade, or intimidate it, it's going to need a separate roll though.
We'll be taking up the persuasion. Oh, well, what can you tell me about that? 17.
I could tell you to go and suck a bag of rocks, Blondie.
It's a very strange, chaotic creature. The best you can get from it is that it heard rumors of more from some bone devil.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe I could do an insight to like figure out what they meant, if they were just like talking out their ass or what. But that
it seems like it's passing on
about what
some
I've
rumors.
heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Great.
All right.
Awesome.
At about this point, you guys are approaching the city. The rolling landscape of the hills and mountain is kind of mostly lacking vegetation, although there are some sparse bits of wood, almost petrified. And as you kind of come around a bend, the machine's slow, and you can see this valley below you, and you see the river Styx flowing through this red, thick, bulbous liquid, kind of rolling past. You're kind of almost like you're overlooking the St. Lawrence. It's that large, winding its way across this landscape. You see these tall iron towers, almost as high up as the city itself, with these chains suspended off and dangling off the city, and these spikes driven into the sides of the city, the crackling orb of the companion above it. You're probably within about a mile now, and you can see and hear these swaths of demons and devils along the banks of the Styx. The devils are on the shore and flying around in the air above, and you see these almost raft-like protrusions from the river, loaded, piled almost to the point of submersion, piled high with all manner of wretched demons, kind of bubbling up to the surface of the Styx and then approaching the shore. Further away from where you are immediately, it doesn't seem as busy. right around the base of where Elturel is anchored, you can see all these devils and demons. The demons seem to be swarming up towards the chains and flinging themselves against this, or flying up if they can. The swarms of devils, although less numerous, are much more organized, and you see in particular, as you get a little bit closer down to about half mile, you see a couple of flights of devils flying together, one of them larger than the others, kind of motioning with this large, it looks almost like a banner of some kind, and you see it motioning back and forth, and just other teams of devils responding to its call and swooping down where they grab, they attack one of these things, and the raft itself burbles up, and this huge mouth opens, and on its back, piled high, all these weird wretches and terrible, demonic, blistered, fetid things, flinging whatever they can find or carry with them at these devils flying above, and the raft itself rises up and opens and spews forth dozens upon dozens of these little smaller demons flinging themselves as it reaches the shore, and then shock troops of bearded devils marching on these lances out in front of them, stabbing downwards, and it's a chaotic battle scene. You guys are kind of coming up on the outskirts of it now. You can try to find your way through, you can try to find your way around, you can try to... How do you want to approach this? All around the base of these chains has a lot of devils and demons, and definitely some in the air as well.
Barnabas, when you're looking at it, I'm unstable. Go ahead.
I asked the Kenku, is there any way up there
You just kind of
without attracting too much attention?
the kind of more gruff one is driving, but the other one is kind of perched up next to you and kind of rattling, and looks back at you and kind of gives a shrug, and it's just like, look out below.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, so like at the same time I'm talking with Barnabas, I'm just like, if we have refuges up there and Mad Mag is the best place to take them, do you know of any way we can do that?
Well, Mad Magith doesn't take just anybody. She needs people who are youthful. You prove yourself to her, and they'll be willing.
It's not really altruism I was expecting. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting.
Welcome to Avernus,
what we really
friend.
need is, what we really need is to get them back out, not find a place where they can live down here.
Like, how many are you talking about?
Hundreds, maybe thousands. Depends how many survived.
Oh, it's a small fort, friend. We could take maybe a dozen.
Yeah.
If they can pay
you're
their
right.
way.
Maybe what I really need is see if she, is that right?
Mad Maggie? She.
See if she knows any way of getting people out, but yeah. Right now it seems untenable.
All right.
Cool.
So, they're kind of turning the machines to do a lazy arc around, so they're not driving right through the thick of it and into combat, but they kind of seem to be taking their cues from you. How do you want to get up there? It's a good 500-600 feet up that chain. You are fairly close to one of the anchor points if you want. It's anchored on both sides of the river, so as the chain slowly click down, it's gonna slowly lower it into the sticks itself.
Right. Okay, so I need to figure out.
Okay. So let me get this straight. there's chains from the bottom that are swarming with demons to go to El Terrell to go up that are then manned by devils. So there's no easy way up there without, say, flying.
If you can fly, if you can distract, if you can, I mean, if you time it right, maybe you can. You're kind of observing this for a little while, and you see that when there's a large flood of demons coming out of the sticks, the devils have to respond to try to put it back, which takes up most of their attention, at least in the local region.
Okay, so then maybe what I'll say to the Kenku is wait for a moment when the battle's thick, right? When the demons swarm and the devils get distracted, take us up. Like, I assume there's a way that the vehicle can kind of go up.
It can get to the base of one of these chain towers if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. But can it go up the chain tower?
Unfortunately, it can't climb. That's going to be up to you guys.
All right, then just drop us off. Give us a time. We'll meet you back here, or we'll find a road.
The Kenku kind of look at each other, and then they give a whistle, and one of them leans over and yells at Barnabas over the din of the battle nearby, and you hear it call out and says, "Shaka, Shaka." When the walls fell, and Barnabas is like, "Fine." And you get the impression that they've done. They're not entirely without experience. I'll put it that way. As they come up, the flame skull, Barnabas, does an arc close by, and you see this small. It opens its mouth, and it almost looks like it spits, and this little arc of this little teeny flame ember flies up and over, and then almost at the riverbank, a good about almost 100 feet away, bursts into this fireball above the bank, illuminating this point where this one raft has been under, like almost like a crocodile, and has gotten really close to the edge, and it's just surfacing, and the flame illuminates the area, and you see these devils point. I'm gonna get you all to do I'm going to say a stealth check to try and get in there without being terribly noticed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, how do you want to do this? It's just like our individual stuff because we are on the machines, or...
Let's... Yeah. We'll just kind of do it as an average skill challenge.
Great. Where is S? There it is. That's a 6.
All right, so we've got a 16 from Falurie.
Doing terrible.
We've got a nat 1
I
from
mean, it
Bela.
seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
You Darcy gets a 6 and Gord gets a 4. These machines are loud, even with the din of the battle. And as this fireball goes off, some of the devils look over towards that and start marching down. One of the platoons moves a little bit closer that way, and then this larger devil flying above, carrying this large banner, flies and calls down in infernal with this loud, resonating voice, and it calls out to addressing the devils down there.
Look to your ranks. Attack. Formation D. Get them.
And points directly at you. And several of the devil ranks stop and pivot on the heel, and you just see probably a dozen bearded devils all get pikes ready, and several spine devils kind of flip around to this side. You guys... They definitely see you coming.
Are we still in the vehicles?
You're still in the vehicles. You haven't even gotten to the chains yet. The Kenku kind of look at you like...
Go back. They've noticed us.
I assume ours is just following theirs.
Yeah, you're just in behind.
Communication's difficult, so... Try to send Darmita and
So you said go back, and the Kenku
Like pull back,
gladly
like pull back,
does
yeah.
a wide arc, and a few of the spine devils fling their barbs at you, but miss in the wake in the dust. And you guys do a wide circuit. You're easily able to outpace even the flying devils at the moment.
Cool. If we can like find a spot that we can like park, it would be nice to actually be able to.
Yeah,
talk to
that's
the
like
others.
when we get some distance, let's park and figure out a game plan.
All right, so you get you go in a wide arc. They track you for a little while, but then after a bit, another swarm of demons comes up from the sticks, and they have to turn their attention to pushing them back. You kind of stop at an outcropping about a half mile away.
So like, well, I mean, I turn to the others. Okay, we need to figure out a way to get in.
Yeah, you see me like step down from mine, so the whole thing.
Anyone have ideas?
Walk over. I was talking to Barnabas, the Skull guy. Might have to be a sort of longer term plan.
I don't think
Seems like there's
Benkuhm
some
has much of a
people-
long-term plan for us. The last...
Yeah, I'm worried about everyone up there, but
And I guess Philees is still with him. Those two may have a chance together.
No, Philees took off.
Well, from what you guys know, she was up there in mist form. You didn't see her leave.
Okay. But she called out.
She said, "Meet me at this bazaar."
meet me there.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Mahadi's bazaar.
of not sticking around, but all right. Darmita just darts a glance at Fenris.
I'm just saying that these crap timed that long. Go ahead, repeat that.
No, every minute is another minute closer to his death. It's not on my head.
I kind of turn to Falurie. Are you able to fly in?
I can try.
We can try two ways. We can go back, try to distract them again, go in, but you separate. Because if we're not able to get in, it's going to be difficult for us, but maybe you can. If we're not able to stealth in, we'll at least distract them. And then give you a better shot to get in and check on those two.
Alright. I think I can manage.
Sounds like something. And if not, I think we're gonna need some help to get in there. And I'm gonna see with the boss they were talking about. Something to follow through on if we have time.
Okay, so
I was gonna
Falurie.
just like, yeah, I guess Godspeed, sorry. Godspeed, Falurie.
God's speed.
Alright.
Yeah, Godspeed.
Well, I've noticed that you can like go invisible and like deke out. You have the best shot of us to get back there.
Yeah.
So
Yes, let's do it. I'm fully rested up, and I got all that I need.
All right. So I'm going to need you to do a stealth check for me to start off.
How long does your invisibility last? Just curiosity.
I'll tell you in a second. As soon as I find it. Cloak shadows. I have to be in an area of dim light or darkness. I remain invisible until I make an attack, cast a spell, or I am in an area of bright light.
That's pretty
Wow.
good.
Yeah,
Yep.
just straight up are invisible. Like
Pretty
unlimited
much.
duration theoretically. That's amazing.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. All
Stealth
right.
check.
So go ahead and do a stealth check, and if you're invisible, if it's dark enough, you can do it with advantage. It is actually fairly dim here. You might not want to do it quite yet, but if you're on the lookout for shadows, you'll be able to find them pretty easily.
How?
Do you want me to roll for advantage or just
I think.
use this?
Well, are you going to use your ability now or save it for later? Just tracking key points, you know.
Yeah, why not? That ability doesn't use key points.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah, same with the teleport. Shadow and nuts.
Wow. Okay.
So I got 24 in my stealth.
All right. Also, what's your strength?
Well, strength is 12.
If you had to, you could carry someone, but it would probably impose disadvantage on your skill checks. But you could if you wanted to.
Just curious. I wanted to check in. How dark is it? I mean, would my kind of shrouding kick in?
It's effectively both of you. If it's dark, you would both be effectively invisible. If it's in the patches that are darker, there are flashes of lightning that would interrupt that, and there's roiling cloud cover that, again, it gives you about a 50-50 chance of being in dim light or not. Like dim light or and it's just kind of consistently dim.
So if I activated my boots and kind of held on to Falurie for speed, but he wouldn't be supporting me because I'd have the boots of flying. Could I hold on to him and could we make pretty reasonable time?
What's your fly speed when your boots are flying?
It's equivalent to my walking speed, but I'm wondering if I held him.
He could give you, let's say he's 50, you're 30, let's split the difference and say 40 speed move if you were, like, pretty good grip as you're going.
Alright.
It's not quite the Superman thing where he's carrying Lois Lane, but it's that kind of thing.
I mean, it wouldn't impose... I mean, I feel like because I'm supporting my own...
mass, yeah.
It's not imposing the disadvantage onto him.
I would agree. I think you're definitely going to have to go a little slower than his max speed, but I think that it would definitely not impose. So it would speed you up a little. It would bring you a fly speed of about 40 between the two of you. Again, if you have to slow down at some point, if you have to be stealthy at some point, that you are going to have to move at half speed.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
but
do you want me to cast Pass Without a Trace? Or?
Yeah.
Or we could do that.
Yes.
Or do both.
Definitely do that.
And
Alright. So I spend 2 key points and cast Spell Without a Trace.
nice.
technically we have been in my favored terrain for more than an hour, which means I can travel at regular speed, stealth as well.
All right. I will allow that.
All right. So pass without a trace or no pass without a trace?
Yes, pass.
Definitely pass without trace.
Still need it.
Yeah, pass
Yeah,
without
well,
a trace is
I think the two of you can, yeah.
okay. So, Darmita activates her boots of flying. These little wings that are embossed on the side of her boots come out, and the two of you kind of grip arms as you go flying up into the air. You're making a plan as you go, and the rest of you kind of huddled near these Kenku. You make good time as you ascend. You circle around to a slightly different spot than you attempted before, being wary of the larger devil and its cadre of spined devils that flank it as it gives directions. And even from this distance, you can tell that devil with the banner makes a motion down below, and 100, 200 feet away, dozens and dozens of devils respond to its command and turn, as though almost instantaneous, at its will. I'm going to get you both to do a stealth check for me. With advantage. I'm assuming you're both invisible. Because y'all can be invisible shadow people. And you do also get Pass Without a Trace plus 10. Go ahead.
I'm just looking... Why is the...
Hold on. That's not the right roll.
37.
22.
22 and 37.
Do you get advantage?
Advantage, okay. Then let's try this.
37. Oh, you almost
No, 22
broke.
would have been the best one.
Yeah, you almost... It's because your wings are larger than hers. She's able to just be this body propelled by her boots, and your wings have to actually flap. You pivot and whirl in the air, riding the currents as best you can and trying to stay out of line of sight. You manage to slip past the bulk of the devils and end up following one of the far chains up to the surface. You break the surface of the city suspended there. Parts of it smoking and smoldering. It's on a slight angle this side of the city. You can see several of the buildings have collapsed from the shaking. That the companion orb above is crackling with a red and purple lightning. You arc above the city and you can make out the high hall, not too far from where you raised up. You begin to wing your way towards that, the open, shattered window frames beckoning as you get closer. You have to dodge a couple of flights of devils along the way, and at one point you pause and wonder, was that the buzz of a Kazame? No. Okay, and it fades. You get a little bit closer. You arrive at the high hall, flying over the walls, going in through one of the large windows. And below you, you see an empty high hall, scattered, broken, damaged bodies of the devils and the demons that you saw fighting, the pools of ichor indicating where the demons fell, a severed claw hand here, some blood stains there, scratch marks here indicating the passage of the devils. You see a link of broken chain crumpled near the altar where you left. You also find a hammer fallen on the ground. There's no sign of a body. There is sign of a struggle. But Benkuhm is no longer here. You don't see... Do an investigation check for me. With advantage, one of you or both of you individually?
I'm just looking. I am proficient in this, but not that greatly proficient. What about you?
For investigation, no.
All
I don't
right.
have a negative, but I am...
You want me to take the advantage then?
Yep.
We'll see. If this is... Either way, 14.
Either way is 14. You're looking around for quite some time for any sign. As you're about to give up hope, you do find his maul lying near the altar.
I would know that.
Yeah, you recognize it. It's got some blood on the handle, but other than that, it looks like it's laying wherever it fell. Falurie, from behind you, you hear a very faint scraping sound. You spin around. There's a shadow hiding in a little archway. Out steps a half-orc woman, dressed in robes. You recognize her now. The rest of the party had talked to her. What was her name again? Farah. She looks a little bit scratched up, a little bit of blood over one eye. She otherwise looks okay. She's holding a pathetic ceremonial mace and a large book under her other arm, and she steps forward. Oh, it's you. I thought they'd come back. Darmita, you see her too now. When she speaks.
I remember her. Where's Benkuhm?
I didn't see everything. I hid up there. They took him. They bound him in chain after chain. They slammed him. He put up a hell of a fight. Eventually they took him. I don't know. I don't know if he was... I think he was alive. But when his roaring and bellowing went silent, I'm sorry, I hid. They didn't find the rest of us. The rest of the people are hidden below. He made sure they were. Benkuhm made sure that none of the devils or the demons had time. He could have maybe run, but he didn't let them find us.
'Cause he's not a coward.
He saved us all.
I'm gonna pick up his maul.
It's heavy, but you do manage to lift it. Strap it to your back if you want to.
With my 11 strength.
It's sized for a Goliath, so it's pretty heavy. It is magical though. If you hold onto it long enough, it will shrink a little bit.
I'm gonna tie it to me. Just I'll look at Falurie and he's not here. We're too late.
What about this one?
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm not going to leave them either. Those people need me, especially with Seltern gone. We have room if you need to hide. Where are the others?
We left them back there because they couldn't get in here without being seen. It's a swarm out there of devils and fiends and things that need to be dead.
All right. You are always welcome here for what it's worth. We will hold out as long as we can and gather any mortals who haven't sold themselves already or died. I am sorry If your friend is dead, then he did not die for nothing.
Didn't he? He didn't stand a chance.
Do any of us?
Well, when your friends don't leave you, you do. He didn't have that benefit. At least the others are safe. I figured they would be. The fiends were too preoccupied with us to know where their entrance was. So...
When you should know. When they left. When you left. I heard more come. I saw more. I saw four more chain devils and a woman, and she came, and when Benkuhm saw her, he began to laugh and laugh. And she called him by name. And he called her. He was laughing when he yelled her name, and they choked him out.
what did he say?
He said, "Good to see you again, bitch." I thought I'd see you in hell, Sarnia.
What was the name again?
You heard her.
And with that, I think we're going to pause for the night.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
All right. Whew, that got intense. I wasn't sure where that was going to go. Thank you very much for your patience. Thanks for watching, Internet. Do you guys, anybody, Internet or us, anybody want to make a recommendation for a name for tonight's episode? Oh, a quick little housekeeping thing. I'm not going to be available next week. It's a super busy work week. So I'm going to be busy on Thursday, so we're going to have to pick this up after a little hiatus. Not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that, ideally. Same bat time, same bat channel.
I have a name suggestion.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Caught between a devil, a fiend, and a hard place.
Between a devil, the fiend, and a hard place? I like it. All right, of course, we always welcome... That is true. That is absolutely true. And as always, Internet, if you have any suggestions or just want to mess with our players, go ahead and spend some plot points. By the way, Henrietta has officially attuned to her mace, so there'll be some info coming back on that in a little bit. So I need a question. Don't tell me now, but if you have a cursed item idea, let me know. Internet, I will happily mess around with that. A couple other things. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the housekeeping that I have.
That is something I meant to bring up, right? Like the fictional TV show that is this game, like how probably the first shot that we saw hand in this session would be framed would do that thing where, eagle-eyed observers in the audience would be like, wait a minute, that's the same mace that they picked up 20 episodes ago, right?
Way back then.
So yeah, anyone who's keeping track, that is that mace that I picked up in the Odiog layer underneath what was it called, Ghost Rock or something?
Salem Rock.
Salem Rock prison.
Salem Rock.
feel free to run with that as much as you want. Although I didn't actually wield it once this session.
It's
so
true.
I don't know.
Well, we'll find out later then. We'll spring that on you later. Feel free to hit that up on the Instagram if you want to do that after. I might even do a name our stuff hashtag call out for that mace later. And as always, thanks very much for watching and for taking part. Great to see you again, Yaofan, and everybody else who's watching. Thanks for playing, guys. I look forward to this every week. And
I'm so glad that people decided to fly up there. That was a really good way of getting closure on a thing that we as players knew that we kind of have to focus elsewhere in the story, right?
Well, you guys
we have to kind of be true to our character, right?
Oh,
yeah, totally. Yeah.
And when
I think that was a
Darmita
good way of doing that.
When Darmita lay that guilt trip on you, Fenris, I was like, oh damn.
That's interesting. I wasn't exactly expecting that, so I think it's interesting how Fenris would react to that.
Yeah,
we'll have
It
to
took
see.
me a minute to even realize what Darmita was talking about.
Yeah, because Fenris was like, I was in the middle of fighting, and I'm like, oop, now we're teleported. I thought actually the elephant was going to put some type of aura to help us. So get in the aura and we're going to fight, a way out. And then all of a sudden boop, what just happened?
Yeah, apparently, and I think Darcy picked up on this early in there, but Holophants are capable of doing teleport when they're fully aware. Now, the old man is in and out, so who knows?
But I couldn't go back again, yeah.
Yeah. All right, and we will pick up in 2 weeks' time. So thanks very much, everybody, and thank you, guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, and roll some dice and have a great night. And we'll hopefully you can join us in a couple of weeks. Cheers, everybody. Good night.
Night.
SideQuest Live. Thanks so much
Right
for
on.
tuning in. We try to record all of our games as much as possible, whether that's Dungeons & Dragons, or Shadowrun, or another tabletop role-playing game. Just a quick side note about all the licenses and copyrights involved. Our music is all Creative Commons attribution music on our live stream video feed or YouTube replay or Twitch VOD. We always attribute each individual artist, so be sure to check out those individual artist attributes.
Side quests live.
Lots of love to so many people
Said.
who make their work available.
Good
so
night,
we can
Yofin.
do what we do. So thank you. It influences our game. It makes it immeasurably better. So much appreciation for them. Let's not forget the makers of the games. Dungeons & Dragons is copywritten by Wizards of the Coast. They own it. They make it available to all of us to play, and it's wonderful. We are in no way affiliated with them, and nor do they endorse this podcast, but we are very appreciative. The other game we often play is Shadowrun, which is Catalyst Games, and again, we are not affiliated with them, and they do not endorse us, but we really appreciate their game, and we hope you appreciate our game. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Twitch and YouTube, and watch for those live games once we're streaming them out. And of course, we do accept suggestions for names, so please hit us up on Instagram and name our stuff. All right, thanks so much. I'm Todd, and this has been SideQuest Live. We'll see you again soon.